This morning I want to talk about log decks and building a log deck. I was told by people you just use your tractor with these type of bandsaw mills with a stationary bed. Well, the problem is you cannot see the forks on the tractor, and most tractors you can't. So I keep running into the bunks and I couldn't get the hang of it. So I decided to build a log deck, and boy has that been handy. A couple of things on the circular mill, the carriage moves and you can position it anywhere you want in front of the log deck. So you can just roll the logs onto the bunks that you want. Whereas this is stationary. So you have to make a log deck that's fairly wide so that you can position the logs on the deck to roll onto the mill where you want them. So that's what we've done. It's worked out very well, and we'll go over how we did that. And I'll even show you a view from the tractor of what I don't see when I'm trying to load a log. Alright, the first thing I did was I set pressure treated posts in the ground. Now here in Vermont, everything is ledge, so I just went down. These are actually setting right on ledge. If we didn't have ledge, I would have poured some nice concrete footings. So these are about 9 foot apart and about 8.5 feet outside to outside from the mill. And then from the front of this log deck to the mill is 24 inches. You need some room to walk through, but you don't want so much room that you got to have long rails to get to the deck. So it's 2 feet, plenty of room to walk through. And then the actual deck itself, this is a 8x8, 9.5 feet long on both ends, to give us a finished to about 8 foot 5 inches from this end to that side of the rails. The rails themselves are about 8.5 feet long, a little less. And then there's, like I say, there's 2 feet to jump over to the sawmill. All I did, and you can't see it, is I put a piece of angle iron inside, and all of this is all held together with threaded rod with nuts on each side and washers. So this angle iron is held to the post and to the 8x8 with a piece of threaded rod, just one rod on each direction on each corner. And then these are offset enough so I could get the threaded rod to get the nut on down here. And then countersunk each one of these I've drilled in enough so that the nut on this end is low, so you're not going to interfere with your business. That's a kind of a problem drilling. I happen to have a magnetic based drill press, and I screwed a plate to these so I could drill straight down, right down through, and it worked really great. But I've done it with just a plain hand drill. Drilling in is the problem. It's pulling back up out the drill. So these are bolted right down through with 1/2 inch threaded rod on each one of these. So we're up here on the business end of the mill, and a couple things. First off, this is exactly 24 inches from the edge of the deck to the edge of the mill. I tried to make everything flush so you couldn't catch yourself on anything, including all bolts are countersunk. Everything is made so you can walk through here with a minimal of problems. So what we did, first thing is I built some steel stops that just drop in, so you take them out when you roll the log off, but when you're loading the deck they won't roll over into this space, which would be kind of catastrophic. And then we have the deck extensions that go over to the mill, and basically all it is this one I sawed it out to like 5x5, so it's a little shorter than the deck, which are 6x6s, and just made a notch with a skill saw so it'll fit right onto the rail of the sawmill. So you pull it out, it sets, and then you can roll your logs off, and there's one on each bunk, on each log deck, so that it can carry the log across to the mill in any place I want it to go. And then these, they're just setting in there, but there is a 2x4 beside them, so they can't really get out of line. Underneath them I put a couple of planks to hold the back end of them up. They're screwed in with timber locks. That's about all there is to it. We'll go over a little closer how we made these and how they're. So this is a log stop, a little closer look at it. Basically all it is a piece of 2-inch square tubing. It's 3/16 walled, and there's 2 holes drilled in the bottom for the 8x8, and a piece of angle iron welded to it with one piece of 1/2 inch threaded rod through to hold it to the 6x6. Now these you could drill straight through because nothing's going to go down into them. But this top one, obviously you can't have a bolt through there because you got to drop this in. And that's all there is to it. The hard part is finding a piece of this that will fit in there. This is actually a piece of European steel. We call it sacred metal here because it's so hard to find, but I just happen to have some. But you can find any two pieces of steel that are made up like this. It can be round, it doesn't have to be a square stock, but I just like square because I have it. Well, that's the log deck. The only other thing is I made the log deck mostly out of ash. I used the back 8x8 is hemlock. The rest of it is all ash. Ash is a fantastic wood. If I'd known what ash is worth right now, I probably would have sold it to a sawmill in log form because it's going about $1 a foot for good ash. Ash is getting much more scarce as the ash borer continues to migrate around New England. This is what I see from the tractor. So you can see, really can't see a whole lot. I can see the end of the log, and that's about it. That's why we have the log deck. So I've got about a 10-foot hemlock on the deck. It is a 13-inch on the small end. So I'm going to pull the log stops out. I'm going to go ahead and pull over some extensions. And just in case, I'm going to bring 3 across. Normally I only bring 2, but this is a movie, so you know, you got to get it right. Just pull out the other log stop. You should be able to just roll this by hand right over onto the deck. There it is. Pull these back. Oh, there. Ready to saw. Hope you like this video. Give it a like if you can, and subscribe if possible. Sure appreciate it. Have a good day. We'll have more coming.